Just so we can tell the people your most extraordinary story so they know where you're coming from here on tonight's panel. Because I've read about it, but I don't know if everybody has, and let's just go through the beats. You were born in Africa.
Somalia.
Right? Somalia, okay. You have come from a Muslim family, and you had a lot of journeys, but basically the one that got you to Holland, which is where you went, it was because you were escaping
An arranged marriage.
an arranged marriage. You didn't want to marry the guy your father picked out for you.
Ayaan Hirsi Ali was born in Somalia and in a strict Muslim household. And she became a Dutch member of parliament. She learned Dutch. She became a very successful and influential member of parliament in the Netherlands.
You got involved in trying to educate other Muslim women there, right?
Yes.
That they could be free in a way they probably hadn't thought about it. And you participated in a short film by a man named Theo van Gogh, which was critical of Muslim oppression of women. That director, Theo van Gogh, for his trouble, got killed by some Muslim who didn't like it.
Oh Allah, as I lie here wounded, my spirit broken, I hear in my head the judge's voice as he pronounces me guilty.
But it was very strongly objected to by Muslim militants in the Netherlands, one of whom murdered Van Gogh and pinned to Van Gogh with a knife a note threatening Ayaan Hirsi Ali.
You think there is something fundamentally violent, anti-democratic?
Anti-democratic, anti-human, hostile to women, hostile to gays, and particularly hostile to Jews. And it's the mainstream Muslims, the 1.2 billion Muslim individuals, who should acknowledge all these things and try and change it.
I wish to say finally, as I've said many times before, that this is not a war with Islam. It angers me, as it angers the vast majority of Muslims, to hear bin Laden and his associates described as Islamic terrorists. They are terrorists, pure and simple. Islam is a peaceful and tolerant religion, and the acts of these people are wholly contrary to the teachings of the Quran.
Is Islam a religion of peace? You are one of the brave people who says it's not really a religion of peace.
It's not a religion of peace, and immediately after 9/11, they should have said it's not a religion of peace. We are up against Islam. 17 or 16 men out of 19 of the attackers came from Saudi Arabia, and we have to face Saudi Arabia.
The American walks every day, normal, going to work. He's walking downtown in Manhattan, and all of a sudden, two planes hit the Twin Towers, and they have no clue why would somebody do such a thing.
The deliberate and deadly attacks which were carried out yesterday against our country were more than acts of terror. They were acts of war.
Radical Islam has declared a war. Radical Islam is at war now with the West.
When I saw the second airplane hit, I knew jihad has come to America.
The tendency of Western political leaders to deny the connection between Orthodox Islamic mainstream and terrorist violence is replicated in the universities and the media. Wherever you look, both in Western Europe and in North America, the members of the elite class have this tendency to proclaim Islam, some mysterious, authentic Islam, to be peaceful and to be tolerant, and those Muslims prone to violence are proclaimed to be non-representative fringe.
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. It's practiced freely by many millions of Americans and by millions more in countries that America counts as friends. Its teachings are good and peaceful. And those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah.
Islam divides human beings into Muslims and non-Muslims. If you are a non-Muslim, you should be told to become a Muslim, or you should be attacked and killed.
Islam is not a religion for personal use. Islam is Sharia law. Islam is a form of government to the world.
It's about time for the whole West to realize Islam is the truth. As a matter of time, Islam got to be implemented. And the giant of Islam and the giant of the Islamic State is going to rise up again.
This is a war against people who, in many ways, pervert what Islam stands for. Islam stands for peace and stands for nonviolence.
Well, I would really appreciate if people who make such claims could then explain the continuity of violence from the earliest day of Islam, from the earliest days of the Prophet and his immediate successors throughout the 13 centuries of recorded history. Even very diverse Muslim societies, which cannot be easily branded under one civilizational label, have something in common, and it is the tendency to be in conflict with their neighbors.
Then the Qurayza tribe surrendered, and the apostle confined them in Medina. Then the apostle went out to the market of Medina and dug trenches in it. Then he sent for them and struck off their heads in those trenches as they were brought out to him in batches.
The idea that Islam is a spiritual religion like, for instance, Christianity, is completely incorrect.
Don't those people represent a more extremist view of Islam? You know, I mean, aren't religions at first? Aren't they supposed to appeal to people's moderate tastes, moderate instincts,
well, they're
in order
supposed
to win them over?
No,
and then,
they're not all
and then aren't
right.
they then co-opted by extremists, by radical extremists?
It was extremist to begin with. Yes. Muhammad was a warrior.
The Prophet cut off the hands and feet of the men belonging to the tribe of Arina, and did not cauterize their bleeding limbs till they died.
Rabbi Qanina was tortured by the order of the Prophet of Islam himself. His eyes were put out. He was burned.
Most of the Muslim individuals who take the trouble to let me know what they think of me think I am a traitor, that I am an infidel, that I have sold out to the enemy.
The real burning question in the world today is, does Islam and Islamic civilization actually sanction the violence that we're seeing being perpetrated in its name around the world? And to that we have to answer, if we're going to be honest about it, an unqualified yes. The Islamic sources, the Islamic texts, starting with the Quran, but not limited to the Quran, the Islamic texts including the Hadith, Islamic tradition, Islamic theology, Islamic law, the traditions of the interpretation of the Quran throughout history and Islamic history itself all bear witness to the fact that Islam has a developed doctrine, theology, and law that mandates violence against unbelievers.
Her message that Muslims must choose between the doctrines of Islam and human rights.
Do you feel in danger?
Yeah, I feel in danger from those individuals who think they will go to heaven by killing me, by killing an apostate.
But you're not going to stop.
No, I'm not going to stop.
Hirsi Ali says what she finds most rewarding is when Muslims get in touch with her and say they have the same doubts about Islam and don't want to hate.